Good evening. As a preliminary matter, this is John Regan, Chair of the Auburn Planning Board. Permit me to confirm that all members are present. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Ronald Brooks.
Aye.
Duarkesh Allen.
Present.
Sierra Samara is on vacation. Town officials and employees participating. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Town Planner Adam Menard.
Here.
Staff Assistant Danielle Chamberlain Roberts.
Here.
Good evening. This is the open meeting of the Town Auburn Planning Board of Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023, now called to order at 7 p.m. This meeting is being conducted as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. For this meeting, the Planning Board is convening in person and by remote access. Remote access information has been posted on the town's website identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by the Auburn Cable Television. Is there anyone here in the audience tonight that is recording tonight's meeting? Seeing none. According to those members of the planning board, employees, and members of the public who participate remotely, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and please take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Please rise and join us in the salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All supporting materials that have been provided to the members of this body are available on the town's website. I would like to remind the audience, applicants, town administration, and each of the planning board members to please refrain from asking questions in regards to all matters discussed this evening without first being granted my consent. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Before we get into the meeting, I'd just like to thank Todd Crane for his service on the planning board. And it was good to have him. Sorry to lose him, but now he's a town selectman. So good luck, Todd. 7 p.m. Applicant Maria Victoria Londano requesting site plan approval under 3.2.3.1 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a home and daycare at 8 Leslie Ave, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 7, parcel 82. Is there anyone here representing? Okay. May I have a motion to open the hearing?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Duarkesh?
Aye.
Aye.
Myself, very aye. The hearing's now open. Go ahead and make your presentation. Introduce yourself, tell us your name and address.
So my name is Isabella. She's Maria. She don't speak English. So I'm trying to help her. I can understand English and talk like a little bit, but I can understand.
Okay. So you're asking, who's the applicant, you or her?
Her.
Okay. So she's asking to do a daycare at 8 Leslie Ave, right up on Packagug Hill, right? Isn't that where Leslie Ave is?
Yes. Between Packagug and Upland.
Yeah. It says in your application that you have license for 10
Yes.
children. So our questions are going to be, what time do you start? What time do you finish the daycare every day?
6 to 6.
6 in the morning or 6 at night? Okay, so with 10 students or children, there's going to be 10 cars. There isn't room on that street for 10 cars if they all show up at once. It's a narrow road. But there's a long driveway going into the property, if I'm not mistaken. So I would suggest that a couple go in, drop off the kids back out and leave, and then the next couple go in. That way you're not blocking the neighbor's driveway. You know what I mean?
Adam, is Leslie, you know, what's the cross streets that go between Upland and,
Just the one. Pull up.
I was gonna pull it up on the computer.
I'm not sure if it's across, no, it isn't across street, it's
No.
rolling through.
Can you bring that up on the big computer? Adam? There you go. You got it up now. So can you blow that up?
So the red ball is
Okay.
eight plus
Let me just go over and look at the map for a second. Excuse me.
Sorry?
Bring the map back.
Adam, it's 8, Leslie, right?
I think my only concern is parking, you know, letting students, dropping them off and then picking them up. I mean, it's a pretty congested neighborhood. There's a lot of houses on Leslie Ave.
How many, John, if I can ask, how many cars can fit in the garage? Is it-
You mean in the driveway?
The driver, sorry, yeah.
I would say, I'd say 6, end to end.
But they're not all staying.
How many cars could fit in that driveway end to end to end? Four, 6?
Yeah.
Okay, good guess. Does anybody in the audience have any questions regarding this? Please step to the microphone, right over there by that microphone, and state your name and address, please.
My name's Bob Urban. I live at 12 Leslie Ave, and I'm from 41 Federal Hill Road, but I've recently moved. My father had passed away, and my mom's 94. So I'm just wondering what you guys, have lined up in regards to, you said 6 a.m., your children. What time are they going to be going outside, and how many will there be? I'm just curious as to your setup.
She has, 7 children, and the time, and it's at different hours.
Different hours of being outside. And could it be as early as 7, 8 o'clock?
Like 11.
11, okay. All right. Now, there's also dogs in the neighborhood. I know there's some right above you, and at night, my dog has the little conversation with them. I mean, just, they say goodnight to each other, but the two up there are quite loud, and I don't know if they're approachable. I'm just letting you know that. And whenever there is somebody outside, the dogs seem to go crazy, so I don't know, we'll have to talk, somebody would have to talk to the neighbor up there or just see how they act to begin with. But my concern is once one dog starts, the whole neighborhood goes up, so.
Is the yard fenced in? Do you have a fence all around?
Yes, their yard is fenced in, yeah. And I noticed you have a cage out there. Is that for your own animal? Do you have a dog yourself? And that cage out there is for your dogs to protect the children? Okay, all right. So my concern is just in the mornings with, like you said, dropping cars pulling up, dropping them off, and then the children being outside. I mean, children play, they make a noise, but as long as it wasn't going to be before, 9 o'clock. That was my main concern. Other than that, I have no other objections.
Thank you.
Okay?
How many children do you have signed up for the daycare now?
Seven,
7?
yeah.
But you have the ability to go to 10.
Yeah.
They have their license. Anybody else in the audience have any questions? Anybody on the board? Rakesh?
I have a few questions, John. One is, so the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Isabella, that Maria has the time, is that, so how does that differ from the question that Bob raised? So what is the 11 a.m. time? So there was some mention about 11 a.m.
She worked 10 hours,
Mhm.
but the daycare is open like 6 to 6,
Mhm.
but she worked like 6 to 4:30.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
your license from 6 to 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think she mentioned that the kids don't go outside to recess until 11 o'clock. That's what I understood.
Okay.
Correct?
And then, this might not fall under ours, but would the state, because the state gives you the license, would the state have requirements to be maintained inside the house for the daycare facility?
They have their license.
Okay. And then, third question was on the food permit. So is there any food being prepared on site?
Here,
Is there any food? Prepared on the site?
Lunch, are you making?
yeah, everything.
Then would that, so based on the Board of Health report, it looks like they need a food permit, right? So if the daycare provider prepares food on site, they will need a food permit from the Board of Health.
She have in her house.
She what?
She had the permit in her house.
So she did obtain permit already from the Board of Health?
Not the permit or license from the state. The permit or license from the town for food preparation, from the town of Auburn.
She have it, but not right now.
Not with her, but she has it.
Yeah.
We can check that out.
Okay.
Darlene.
Yeah.
Any questions, Ron?
Yes, when the people come and they drop off the people that you're taking care of, they just drop them off and then they leave. The cars don't stay there
No,
for
don't say.
any length of time. They
Just
just
drop the,
off,
just drop
and
the
then they leave,
children.
and then they come back and pick them up at some time later. Are the times that they drop off and pick them up staggered? I mean, are they all at the same time? Are they all coming at 7 o'clock, or are they
Not every,
some at 8, some at 9?
some at 8, 9,
2 minutes
yeah,
apart, 15 minutes apart?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
You guys have a problem with this?
I think as long as they, to Ron's point, if they can space up the, the drop-off and the pickup, I think that helps the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll just confirm if the food permit is there, as long as that's there.
So, we'd like a motion to approve with the conditions that no children outside before 9,
Mhm.
and the drops-offs are staggered. And that and if the town has a record of her food preparation permit from Darlene, from the health, Board of Health.
Yes,
May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, and aye, it is a vote.
Close the hearing too.
Oh, yeah. I should have done it before we voted, right?
Probably, but
I'll
motion to close.
make a motion to close the public hearing.
One second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ron, myself, John Reed, aye. And it's 3 ayes for the vote, correct? No one's changed their mind in the last 2 seconds. So it's approved. It's approved, but it's based on no children outside before 9 AM, staggered drop-offs and pickups. And Adam's gonna check with the Board of Health to make sure you have a food preparation permit. That's it. Thank you. You're all set?
Good luck.
Good luck. You're welcome. Second on the agenda tonight at 7:05 PM is applicant Gabrielian Family LLC requesting a special permit under section 3.2.2.4 for a 2-bedroom apartment in an existing mixed-use structure at 744 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 60, parcel 50. Is there anyone here representing Gabrielian? Please step up to the mic, but I have to tell you, we can't vote on this tonight because we don't have 4. Is this where the Biscotti place was? Yes. Okay, that's what I thought. Yes. Did they move, or did you go out of business? They just went out of business. Really? Yeah, oh, that's too bad.
What was that? What was that?
Biscotti, it was a bakery, coffee shop.
They're going out of their house now.
Yeah, they're in home now.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay. So, basically, you're just gonna demo the inside of what was the coffee shop and reconfigure the interior, nothing on the outside.
No, the outside's all done.
Right, and then,
Just going back to what it was. It was
right.
prior residential anyways. We're just reversing it back to what it was.
I really don't have any questions, but like I said, unfortunately, we can't vote on it because it's a special permit. But it was, the demo plan was very well done, and so was the reconfiguration shown in the second plan.
John, I have,
How do I open a hearing without 4?
Yeah, we can open that hearing.
Can we open the hearing?
Can't
Okay.
take a vote.
Yeah,
I'll make
motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hearing's now open.
They'll do the present, sorry. So for a special permit approval, you need 4 yes votes from this board. There's only 3, so they'll give you a presentation, and they won't be able to vote an approval on this until the following meeting when we have 4 people, 2 weeks.
John, I have one question, maybe for Adam here. Is, so the zone itself, so because it's a mixed use, it doesn't have to now be changed to residential?
No.
No.
Mixed use,
It's passive residential.
Okay. Okay. And then, one comment, I think, from the building commission? Yes, the building commissioner, the exterior plan should have adequate parking. I think there's enough parking, yeah.
We had a coffee shop there prior. It's gonna be less
Yeah,
of an issue now.
okay.
Way more.
Yeah, we're fine.
Awesome. I don't have any other comments.
Ron, you have any questions?
There was an apartment there before, Kevin?
It was, yeah. It was that plus my office. It
Yeah.
was a larger apartment, so it was broken. When they broke it down, it was before I was there as an office.
I'm fine.
Okay, so may I have a motion to continue this to our next meeting?
I'll make a motion that we continue it to the next meeting on June 27th,
June 13th.
13.
June 13th.
Yeah, it's our next meeting.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, Jerry, and I, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
I have to come back.
What's that?
I have to come back. That's,
I don't think you have to come back if you don't want.
well, I mean,
You made your presentation, we'll have it on the agenda.
I just don't want to not be here and have it.
That's up to you, that's up to you. And you can join online too, instead of coming here if you want. I don't know where you live.
Will I get a letter, a time and everything again, just like this one?
Same time, 7 o'clock, June 13th.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Oh, one question.
Sure,
After that, will I then apply for the building permits? and
Correct.
regulations? Is that the next step? Okay, thank you.
Can you start that process now?
I don't think Caleb will let them.
Okay.
This is an appeal period on special permits too, so it's a multi-step process, special permits.
Next on the agenda is 710 applicant Acorn Acres Manufactured Housing Community requesting a special permit under section 3.2.6.12 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for an auto repair garage at 113 Washington Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 27, parcel 6. May I have a motion to open the hearing?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, aye. Is there anyone here? Oh, there you are. So give us an idea of what you're doing there. I'm trying to figure where it is on, I couldn't bring it up on Google Maps.
You know where the new Lundgren Collision Center is on Route 20?
Yep,
And so Acorn Acres, I'm Justin Stelmach, the owner of Acorn Acres. Jared Lyles from Lundgren Collision Center. If you're going towards Worcester, you hit, you hit Lundgren first, and then Acorn Acres is directly after that. They're abutting properties. So what we're looking to do, three things. First, I'm looking to change the use of a commercial metal building that's within my property. That would allow Jared and his team to be able to lease that property, to be able to do automobile advanced driver's assistance systems. Like, don't ask me what that is, he can explain it. But
It's very difficult.
so right now, that building is zoned, or the use is a commercial warehouse. It was previously leased out to a commercial construction company. Prior to that, it was a paving company, so there was a lot of heavy equipment that was stored up there, vehicles in and out all times of day, sometimes on the weekends. What Lundgren's looking to do is this ADAS, where they're gonna be having 5 to 15 vehicles a day at most, one at a time going into the building, do their diagnostics, send it back to their collision center next door. So there's no auto body work being done, no mechanical work being done within our building. It's strictly just the computers and recalibrating the sensors.
plugging it in, same thing under the dash to figure it out.
Yeah, you plug it into the OBD connector and, use the software, whatever they require to reset any cameras, modules, sensors, things like that. Yeah.
Windshield brakes, gotta reset the camera.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to have a space of 30 by 50 minimum per OEM standards, so this building fits the bill perfectly.
It's a 40 by 60.
40, yeah.
One big open room. So, and then what we're looking to do, or what Jared and Lundgren are looking to do, is there's the PVC fence that separates our two properties. Remove two sections of that fence, put in a similar style gate, and then create a gravel or crushed stone access driveway from their parking lot to our roadway to be able to access that building.
Then they won't go on the road.
No. Overall, I mean, from my perspective of it as the community owner, a lot less impact to our, or potential impact to our residents. Again, with those heavy equipment vehicles that used to be going in there, they'd have to come in off of Route 20 too, so they'd be going through the whole community. Where Jared and his team, they're only gonna be going by 4 or 5 homes if they come in, through that access gate. So,
Jared, how many vehicles did you say?
Anywhere from 5 to 15, depending on what needs to be done.
Any other questions, Roger?
So would there be a detailed, I know there is a site plan, but would there be a detailed site plan now? With the existing, use of the site and then the updated?
there's nothing that was changing, that's something I talked to Adam about. We said, let's start with the existing conditions. We're not changing anything with our building. The only change would be removal of those 2 sections of fence, which we indicated where that would be on the plan. Yeah, everything else would stay the same.
And then, so there's looking at some of the board reviews, there was, there's no auto repair license required here, right?
I'm not aware
For
of
this
that.
property?
I'm not aware of that.
That, I guess, was, yeah, that was kind of a question from the Board of Selectmen that
Yeah.
we weren't sure what the answer would be.
Right.
On how to, it seems that there's a simple solution to deal with it, where Lundgren either has to apply for it, or they don't. Being that our overall zone is a highway business for Acorn Acres, I don't know, I can't answer that question. I guess we'd look from guidance, whether it's from this board or from whoever we need to speak to on that.
I don't think when,
Vehicle repair license, my opinion is, yes, it's fixing automobiles.
Okay.
It's not this board's authority to vote on it, but my personal opinion is yes.
Okay.
So is that something that I, as the owner of the building, would go for, or that Lundgren would go for as, okay, yeah,
All right, so I'll get that in motion.
okay.
And then I'm looking at the Board of Health, it says the current license is for manufactured housing community.
Yep.
And so it's essentially residential, not commercial, right? So would there be a change there?
No, we are zoned as highway business. All of our manufactured housing communities are highway business. So, I mean, it is true, Board of Health does issue that yearly license for us, but that building right now is the commercial warehouse building. It has always been used as a commercial use.
So would that then go away, the Board of Health's license? Again, just, I don't know.
We would continue to operate the community as is with our 37 homes, and then that metal building would be leased to Lundgren for them to be able to use it what they need to.
And then you did, and since there is no auto repair, right, it's essentially just a recalibration yard. I'm assuming there's no oil and water separator, there's no other
No,
requirements.
but there is actually in that building, it was rebuilt in, I think, 2016, and that was before we purchased the property. When they rebuilt it, they put in what they call the alternative method, which we have in another building that we own too. It's a pit in the ground, there's a grate over the top of it, there's a explosion-proof pump inside of it, and then that gets piped out to a tank within the building. So idea is if there was ever any type of leak within the building, that liquid goes into that pit and then gets pumped into that tank. Yeah, so that whole system already is in place.
The last question is just, I mean, just the 5 to 15 vehicles, so from a traffic perspective, you don't expect any changes, significant changes to the pattern there, right?
No. No, I mean, due to the extent of the calibrations and how long they take, you can only do so many in a day. You know?
That's all I have.
Any run? I don't have a problem with it. I don't understand why it's not disapproval of application. I don't understand why.
Well, they've had complaints from neighbors with fumes, but those are handled by Board of Health. It's not really a purview of this board,
Fumes from what?
paint.
That's from the collision center stuff.
Correct.
I mean, I can tell you too, I did, in the packet, provide a letter. I sent a letter out to all our residents, letting them know that we were coming in here and what was, what Lundgren's potential use was gonna be, and to call me if they had any questions. And they're usually pretty good with calling if they have questions or concerns. I didn't hear from anybody.
So, this metal building is basically right next door to the Lundgren Collision Center.
Correct.
Take down 2 sections of fence for the driveway. Where are the trailers in relation to this?
Do we have that site plan?
Thank you.
So this is the collision center, where we're looking, right here. Here's our metal building. Here's Acorn Acres, so right up here is where that 2 sections of fence would go in. So they would be coming in, essentially right here, say right through here, coming up this roadway, and then coming into the garage right there. So they're only going by those 1, 2, 3, 4 homes to be able to access it.
How come you can't move it further down toward the building?
There's a big retaining wall there.
Well, that makes sense.
So when Lundgren built their collision center, they had the blast and, because we looked at that, because that would obviously be ideal.
I remember that.
But right behind our building, there's gotta be an 8-10 foot retaining wall.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
Any questions, gentlemen? Any questions from the audience? Okay, could I have a motion to approve?
It's a special permit,
Is it a special?
unfortunately.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it is.
So we have to come back?
Unfortunately, we need 4 yes votes to approve a special
2
permit.
weeks, yeah.
Okay, so you said June 13th? Okay, I'll come back in for
Motion to
that.
continue the hearing.
I'll make the motion to continue the public hearing to June 13th.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Michelle, John Reeves, and aye. See you in 2 weeks.
I assume Lundgren can start working on the licensing portion of it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Email me.
I will email you everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next on our list tonight is applicant Kimley Horn and Associates requesting site plan approval under section 3.2.6.1 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a self-storage facility at 319 Washington Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 42, parcel 31. This has been continued from 5/25/23, so there's no need to open the hearing. It's already open. Is there anyone here from Kimley Horn?
They're on the computer.
On the computer?
Casey, are you there? Casey?
Can we skip them and come back?
Yeah.
Do I have to make a motion for that?
No, we'll just skip
We're
over.
going to skip ahead to the next one on the list. If they come online, we'll deal with them then. Our next on the list is applicant Eastland Partners Incorporated requesting site plan approval under 3.2.6.0 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a warehouse distribution facility at 190 Washington Street, Lot 1, Auburn, Mass. 01501. Map 34, parcel 4 has been continued from our April 25th meeting. Is there anyone here representing Eastland Partners?
This one. I'm just, Steve O'Connell and Travis, we're gonna be remote from Turning Point on this. They're texting me telling me they have no audio connection. And that might be happening with your previous agenda item. So he asked me to ask if they're on the YouTube stream or the GoToMeeting.
There it is.
Ask if they can hear you.
Can anyone online hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right, let's go back to Kimley Horn. Casey, you're up. That's okay, John?
Okay, we're gonna go back to applicant Kimley Horn Associates.
Great, thank you. Adam, are you able to make me a presenter so I can share my screen?
Yes. All right.
All right, thank you. Let me know if you all see it.
We can see that, Casey.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, yes, thank you all for continuing to hear our application here this evening. Just wanted to come back and give basically a status update on where we're at with addressing comments from the town departments and the peer reviewers. So I'll just go through a few of the changes we've made over the last month or so. So we did go ahead and revise this entrance into a right turn and in and right turn out only in order to restrict the movements off of Washington Street. We also did submit our traffic study for review as well. So in regards to site changes, that was the only kind of modification we did make. In regards to utilities, flip to the utility plan. We did change our water line design based off of comments provided by the water and sewer department. So we now have a backflow preventer on our domestic line and a fire line going to
each of these two buildings. We've also implemented 2 hydrants in the locations that the fire department and water department requested. And then in regards to the sanitary, we have, what we're proposing here is a gravity outfall from the building to this point here, in which we will be installing a pump station, and then we will be pumping it up to an existing stub to the property that's located within the utility easement. So we'll be converting that cap into a manhole, and that all gravity flows out to Millbury Street and into the public system. And then I think the last thing I wanted to go over was just a lighting plan. So there's, I think, a request at the last meeting to present on this. So here are the fixtures that we're planning to use. They will be, projecting light downward. These fixtures will be mounted at 20 feet in height, and so we have a couple of pole mounts across the property, and they will only be lighting the paved areas and around the building. And we also have wall-mounted lights that will be mounted on the building in order to light the sidewalk and whatnot in front of the building. And same on the other side of the parcel, a couple light poles, and then wall-mounted lights around this building. So we're not projecting any lighting across our property lines or really even close to it. We still have a lot of green space and unlit area kind of surrounding the property. So in regards to some peer review comments that we're still working through, that would be stormwater. So we are getting geotech testing done on this site, and then we will be resubmitting a finalized stormwater report and working through those comments here with the peer reviewer. So I think those are the main kind of updates here this evening. Just wanted to come back and show a little bit of progress and take any additional questions or comments that the board might have at this point.
Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions? Rakesh, do you have any questions?
Yes, a few. So, is Casey, right? Casey, so on the stormwater management report, so you said that's getting done. Is that coming up? Is that coming up in the next planning board meeting?
Potentially. What we're waiting on is geotech results. So we need to do some infiltration testing. So we're trying to expedite it, but I don't know if it will be before the next meeting. Is that it's mid-June, the next one? Correct?
Yes. Yeah. Then I was just looking at the second set of comments from from the town. There is, so we have the utility right-of-way between the two lots. Have you had conversations with the utility?
So this is an easement that was established in order to provide utility access to basically both of these parcels. So we submitted the deed language for review. It basically, states that we do have the rights to utilize this easement for, our connections, as well as Santander has the right as well. So, yeah, I think we've provided that all for review and any
Is
feedback
that-
there.
Is that the same as the National Grid right of way? Because there is that
Oh,
transmission
so-
lines, right?
Yep, so let me see if I can highlight here. So the utility easement I was discussing, oops, it's not highlighting straight at all. Sorry about that, but it's that line right there, runs across the property. The National Grid easement bisects the property, so if you can see my cursor here, we are also submitting to them to get their approval of just the driveway crossing.
And also, I think, given that these are high voltage equipment, you might need clearance. There might be clearance restrictions too, right?
Yes, yep, they're making us include that in the package.
Okay.
You have any questions, Ron?
No, I just can't hear most of the presentation very well, so.
I have a few questions. My first question is, why are you building barrel block manholes and catch basins? It's in your detail. Instead of using precast.
And it's just a typical detail we have been using, but we can switch to precast. It's
I
not
don't
an
really
issue.
care, I was just wondering, because I'm on a job in Springfield, you can't get barrel blocks anymore out there,
Okay.
or the pies that go underneath. So I don't know if Kamasi has them or what, but I was just kind of curious. That's an old state standard.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look into that and revise it.
Looking at your drainage, I have a hard time figuring out what direction the flow is. Because when you go from one page to the next, like from, what sheet number is this? Sheet 3.4, which shows the drainage. And you go to the match line, you go to the next sheet, it comes down to a manhole, takes a right, and then goes left out of that manhole, goes down, and then the line seems to disappear at another catch basin where it has the inlet protection, and then, I don't know where it goes from there, and then you have one manhole up in the top right corner, drain manhole that goes out to looks like a stone outfall. So I don't know how the drain on the left connects to the drain on the right.
Overall. All right, so essentially in this, drainage design, there is a fair amount of off-site water that's coming onto the property. So we have a series of bypass pipes. So one of those is located here and picks up flow coming off site into these two inlets and goes down the site into a larger bypass system that then crosses the National Grid easement and outflows to the wetlands. So it's, continuing the existing drainage pattern down to the wetlands. Now, if we go a little bit upstream over here, we can see that there's another series of a few inlets that are collecting off-site flow from the Santander Bank and routing it through. On the northern side of the property, those are the two series of pipes that bypass off-site flow through the property. And then on kind of the southern portion, we do have additional inlets located right here and right here that collect off-site flow into these underground detention basins, and those are just holding back the flow, and then those discharge into the lake that go to the wetland. So all that discussed is just collecting all the off-site flow that's coming onto the site. In regards to the flow of our development, we have inlets placed throughout the parking fields, and those are ultimately piped to this large underground infiltration basin. And before they get into the infiltration basin, they're going through a proprietary stormwater device that will filter it and provide the water quality. So everything from the on-site impervious pavement areas will be collected and routed to this large underground detention and infiltration system that ultimately also outflows to the wetlands. So hopefully that provides a little bit more context to the drainage that's happening on site.
Okay, so on the bottom left of the building on the right, that checkered area, that's a infiltration system? That's like a collection system or a recharge system?
This right here is the infiltration, recharge system.
Okay, so when you go down to your next one down, all the way to the corner of that property, past the second building, the lower, there you go, that outfall right there spills out, and then it goes into a swale, and that swale, from what I can tell, is gonna wind up on Old Common Road, that flow.
So it all, ultimately goes to the wetlands in this corner. We could further define a swale channel to make sure it doesn't spill onto Old Common, but we were trying to avoid impacting within a 100 feet of the wetland buffer, which is shown in this gray line here. But we could build a swale in here just to.
On the wetland buffer there that you have there, and you're putting an outfall in it, and it looks like the wetland buffer area goes right up to that outfall. Do you have to replicate any part of that wetland that you're taking away by putting the outfall in the pipe there?
So the wetland is here, and then the buffer from it is here. So we are not impacting any of the wetland, and we're, staying outside of the 100-foot buffer, so not impacting it at all.
The other suggestion I would make, I know you explained the drainage, but if you could put direction of flow arrows on the pipelines, that would be
Yeah.
great. Because it gets confusing. I'm looking at, I think sometimes 30-inch going to 18-inch, and I know that's not right. And then
Yeah, we can add flow arrows. Yep.
on your force main, that's like a 28-foot lift for that pump. What size pump is that gonna be? Do you know what horsepower that's gonna be as far as the grinder pump goes?
Yeah, let me pull up the details. See if we can find. Yeah, I'm not seeing the horsepower jumping out at me. I'll get back with our wastewater engineers to get that answer and provide it prior to the next meeting.
Okay, where your force main exits into the manhole that's already established at station 2+78.39, that's an existing manhole, if I'm not mistaken.
So this is an existing cap. It's basically just like stubbed out to the property. So we're going to be converting that into a manhole so we can connect to it.
Okay, so there's a pipeline up to that stub end.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So when I'm looking at the plan here, it just looks like that force main shoots up into the manhole. Usually, they come up and then they taper off like to a 40, so you have a 45 inside the manhole, to point at the invert to go in the direction it's supposed to go. Because if you just shoot that up into that manhole, it's gonna sit there and bubble on you. If you know what I mean, because I don't know what the pitch is from that manhole out.
Okay. We can revise that, take a
Yeah,
look
if you
at
look
it.
on page C 6.3, it really illustrates the lift on that pump. My next question would be, is it one pump or two pumps in the manhole? There you go.
I believe it's just one pump.
Here's my problem. If that pump fails, and you have that whole line going up there, that line will back up. And I don't know if it'll come out of the manhole or not, but it's gonna come out somewhere, either inside the building, and eventually flow out of the building, across the parking lot, into the wetlands. So usually in a grinder pump situation where you're handling buildings this size, it's a double grinder pump, so they alternate. If one goes down, there's a float system in there, or a sonic system in there that reads the level of the fluid. One pump will kick on, and it's set up with a program, so the other one kicks on the second time, it just goes back and forth, so you get even wear on the pump. I would take a look at that with your wastewater engineer.
Okay, yep, we'll take a look. It is a, you know, a relatively large building, but I mean, the use, I guess, on the sanitary system should be relatively low, just because there will be limited employees. But yeah, I'll talk that over with them.
Okay, so say you maintain the one pump, and it fails. There'll be an alarm inside the building, I'm sure, or a light on the manhole that tells everybody that it's failed. So is there a provision in the job to be able to bypass pump from that manhole all the way up to your discharge manhole? I mean, when a sewer system goes down, the pump goes down, I don't know about the usage, it may take days to fill up that manhole, I don't know. But if it doesn't, that's gonna fill up, and it's gonna be like, you're gonna be running around like chickens with your heads cut off, trying to find a pump to get in the hole, pump up to the manhole. That should be all set forth ahead of time, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate the comment.
That's about all I have. Go ahead.
You made a comment earlier about some off-site water coming onto your site.
Yep.
Where does that come from?
So I will go back to the grading plan.
Does that come from the lot above you, meaning up
Yeah, so
Washington Street?
the farm located to the east. So you can see all of these gray dashed lines or contours. It's basically the property just to the east. There's a large lawn hill that flows down. So there's a significant amount of drainage kind of coming onto the property. And then for the Santander lot, there's a little bit between, you know, the drive aisle that's also flowing down onto the property as well. But yeah, primarily it's the parcel to the east.
Anything else, Ron? Anybody else have any questions to Arakesh? Go ahead, Doreen.
Ask online too, if anybody has questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, you know, I've spoken about traffic concerns on Route 20 from here all the way to South Street. And this is a large piece of property. I think this is such a good use for this piece of property. We have Route 20 being built up everywhere with a lot of traffic. As someone who lives in the area, someone who actually has a storage unit in the area and sees that these places don't have a lot of in and out traffic. You know, people go and they store their things. There could be in the morning, I see more and more small businesses like painters, landscapers, etc. They use those for their storage for their equipment, but those are just small vans and stuff. You know, we continue to talk about the concerns of the traffic on Route 20, and I think that this is going to have a minimal impact for such a large lot. And, you know, to their credit, they addressed Mr. Bertrand's concerns up at the farmer's daughter. So, you know, they were excellent to, as an abutter to work with. But I'll continue to be here to raise my concerns about Route 20 from, you know, the Worcester line to South Street, because it is critical. But I think this is a great use for this property and will have a minimal impact with traffic. Thank you.
Comments, Doreen, thank you. I see you're still determined to have the entrance off of Washington Street. Has Mass DOT given you permission for that curb cut yet?
No, so we need to wait until we have site plan approval, is my understanding, before we can permit it with them. But our traffic engineers have had initial discussions.
Okay, so my question is, what happens if DOT says no?
If DOT said no, we would have to figure out another point of access for the site, but based upon our traffic study, we don't have any concerns that they would not allow this use. And it's a very, you know, low amount of trips, so it's just based on our study, it has not been a concern.
Yeah, as far as getting into that lot with that one big driveway, I think people exiting should be right turn only. And people coming in should only be right turn only. You get people crossing Route 20 in the heavy traffic in rush hour, you're gonna have an accident there. I know it's not a huge impact, but it's gonna happen, I guarantee it.
Yeah, and we took that feedback from the last meeting and did implement that we will only have right turns in and right turns out.
Okay, appreciate it.
Casey, as you work on the traffic study, you know, from a traffic standpoint, also keep the utility, you know, the right-of-way access in mind, because you are, you know, as you get into the property and you go to the left lot, or the left storage unit, that's, you are passing through the 115 right-of-way.
Right.
The transmission right-of-way, so something to work with National Grid on that as well.
Yeah, yep, that's a great comment. You can kind of see right here. So they do have an existing gravel path. We're proposing to basically cut our curb and make sure that, you know, their trucks can come in and access and their lines as needed. So, but yeah, definitely appreciate that comment. We'll work through it with them.
If you have nothing else, Casey, you could have a motion to continue to our next hearing.
I'll make a motion to continue the next public hearing on June 13th.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, aye. See you in 2 weeks, hopefully.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Next on the list is applicant Eastland Partners Incorporated requesting site plan approval under section 3.2.6.0 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a warehouse distribution facility at 190 Washington Street, Lot 1, Auburn, Mass. 01501, map 34, parcel 4. This has been continued from our April 25th meeting. Is there anyone here representing? Okay. We did get an email from Steve that the owner is willing, that the client found acceptable, and I'll read them aloud. A geotechnical consultant shall be retained to design and/or certify the one-to-one slope on the western side of the property. That was one of our comments. No occupancy permit shall be issued until Route 20 improvements are substantially complete. The 4-foot black vinyl coated chain link fence shall be installed around the infiltration basin 2 and infiltration basin 3 as illustrated in the approved Auburn Commerce Park definitive subdivision plan. A waiver for a foundation landscaping per 11.5.2 is granted. Does anybody have any questions regarding this lot? Gentlemen?
John, where are the detention ponds that would have the 6-foot, the 4-foot fence?
Can you bring up the plan?
How many,
One there, one's right next to the access road going in, Ron, right there. And there's one more. That could be it, right there. That one and that one. So the trails are way, way down. This is that lot that's way up to the west.
almost touching, like, by the Shell
Yep.
station up in there?
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure they weren't in the vicinity of the mobile home parks where kids could.
Right, that's why I had the fence put around them anyway. Is there any comment from anyone in the audience? Come on up, Doreen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I think I just heard good news that they've agreed not have occupancy until the Route 20 improvements are done?
Substantially
Okay.
complete, there's a
That's right. Yep.
difference.
Right. So that would be my point. Substantially is subjective, so I'd like a little clarification on that. You know, you're substantially, and a developer substantially, and another member substantially could be different. It's like saying, you know, you'll have reduced homework. Well, does that mean 10 problems or 8 problems? So I would like clarification on the substantially, and I'm very, very appreciative that they're working with this, because I was anticipating a nightmare during that construction of the road, which we know they're going to have to close lanes and stuff, and then traffic trying to come in and out. I mean, I think it's a great idea to wait until the lanes are substantially completed, but if we could
Well, if-
just have a
Tell me
clarification.
if I'm wrong, to me, substantially complete is the base is down, the binder's down, all you have left is the top and the traffic lights. You have to put temporary traffic lights on the binder. I know sometimes you guys let that sit, but they'd be able to use that with the temporary lines. And then the total completion would be the full pavement, and I'm sure DOT's gonna come out and inspect that, because it has to be right.
You know, as long as it's not like, okay, we got one turning lane done, but we're still going to have a lot of construction. I know, substantial,
So say Route 20 was the owner, okay, as an example, I'm just making a
okay.
point. And they're the owner, to me, substantially complete is owner has beneficial use. That means the traffic on Route
Okay.
20 would have beneficial use getting in and out of there, the way we had talked about.
Yeah. And I do, again, appreciate this. I know that, you know, these meetings have, you know, we've seemed like we're difficult, but it's truly a safety issue for us. We live there. We're already, I mean, this weekend, we'll see everyone getting off of the Mass Pike coming Route 20, and it's going to be gridlock. And my recollection is this work will begin in spring of '24?
Not sure.
The road work, is that correct? yeah, spring of '24, so we'll get through this summer at least, but,
We're not looking at occupancy till sometime in 2024, like toward the end of the
That'll be
year.
correct, yeah. I mean, it'll be sometime in 2024, so.
yeah. And I'll just wrap up by saying, I've said all along, I'm not a NIMBY, I know this place is going to be developed. My true concern has always been traffic, safety, from the Worcester line all the way down to South Street. So if there are any more projects, I'll be here, but I appreciate them making this concession. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
John, one clarification. So, based on the email, are they looking to provide the geotech design, slope design? Okay. So we'll, once they provide us that, we'll send that to our peer review and then get some comments?
I don't know if we send it to a peer review, would we, for the
Can-
geotechnical?
I can ask the
I
town.
mean, he's got
engineer
to, the
to take a look
geotech's
at
got to stamp it.
Can ask the
You got your
town engineer
PE
to
stamp
take a
on
look
that,
at
so I'm happy with that. If they, what's that? Not my stamp. I don't have a stamp. I can't think of anything else.
Do you want to see if anybody online has comments?
Anybody else online have any comments?
Okay, just checking.
Being none, may I have a motion to close the hearing?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
So was an aye. May I have a motion to approve with these conditions that the owner has actually agreed to?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, and aye. It is a vote. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you, board. Much appreciated, everybody.
Next on the agenda is applicant Robert Lemansky for GL McKinstry Trust for a definitive subdivision plan for a two-lot, single-family home development with site improvements on the property located at Clare Drive and Linda Avenue, Auburn, Mass. 01501. There's no one here representing them, and the request has been to continue this to our June 27th meeting. May I have a motion to move this review to our June 27th meeting?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, and aye. It is a vote, is now continued. Discussion, Rochdale Streets Solar Extension Request. I read that real quick, but, so what kind of an extension are they looking for this time? We extended them twice?
Well, we've been extending two different projects.
Right.
We extended one last month or 2 months ago. This is the other one, same issue.
What was the one last month? 'Cause I don't
That
remember.
was Henshaw, that was Henshaw Street one.
Oh, that was the one up on Henshaw.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
This
And then
is,
there's the other one that's across from me on March.
that's this one.
And that's what's up now? How long do they want?
I don't know if they're online. I think I think the board did a year for the last one.
We gave them a year the last time.
Yeah. So
I would say no more than that.
that would be my recommendation, just National Grid seems to be getting close on the previous one that you extended a month or two ago, so hopefully the same situation with this one.
Yeah, the story is that Eversource and National Grid is holding everything up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really surprise me.
Right. But so my question then is, can they give us, I mean, we can extend it for a year, but can they give us an update every other month or every month, you know? Just to, because, you know, I know how these studies go, and they can, if they're done, they can be done quickly,
Yeah.
you know?
So, if we do approve the extension, is there a mechanism we can use that they have to notify everybody when the construction is gonna start?
They'll have to get building permits.
Again, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, will they notify neighbors?
We can ask.
How, since the initial approval, how long has it been now? It's been 3 or 4 years?
3 or 4 years, 2019 maybe, and they had an original 2-year approval
'Cause
time.
there was one in back of me too, but then
They-
those people pulled away from the solar.
Yeah.
We took it back and said, I guess they weren't gonna keep giving extensions and never knowing.
Yeah, so,
Because at the end, some of them do get denied, I believe.
I would think
They can't produce enough electricity, yes. So may I have a motion to extend the Rochdale Street Solar for 1 year from the date of its expiration?
Can we add a condition that they provide updates to the board?
They have to go for a building permit, so, I mean, we could get that from Caleb if we had to, but I just think it'd be nice if they did give us
I think
at least a
Caleb,
month
I think
before they get
Deresh is
started
looking for,
an update.
like, every 6 months or 3 months, every
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah, every quarter.
Send us, every quarter, send us
Yeah.
something,
Yeah,
and,
once a quarter, yeah.
So,
or that, then that, or if not, then the permit gets rescinded.
well, no, they'd have to come for another extension.
We'll
We
then
don't
decide.
give the permit, we
Right.
just give the approval on the plans.
Right.
So the permit still has to come from Caleb. So, with the, extend it from the point of expiration now for 1 year, based on the fact that we get quarterly updates of the progression or non-progression of this project.
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, aye, it is a vote. There are no modifications. There are no decisions that I know of. There's no new business unforeseen by me. Is any update from the member town planner?
The town manager and I interviewed a replacement for Todd this morning.
Awesome.
Town manager's going to appoint him, he's going to get signed in, sworn in Friday.
Great.
So you'll have somebody new for 13th,
Awesome.
and we're still looking for an associate
Great.
for 3 years now, since now using them as a selectman.
That's a very effective recruitment. That's great. Very effective recruitment from Todd. Replacement, yeah.
May I have a motion to approve meeting minutes from 4/11/2023 as submitted?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, aye, it is a vote. May I have a motion to approve meeting minutes from April 18th, 2023 meeting?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, aye, it is a vote. And may I have a motion to approve meeting minutes from our May 9th, 2023 meeting?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, aye, it is a vote. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that.
One just a note for the next meeting. I will be traveling, so I can jump in online. So if there are any online issues, I'll just ping you, Adam.
Hopefully not, 'cause I'll be out of the country, so somebody else will be filling in for me.
Danielle.
That's probably why I asked you to extend a couple of things a month, just to have a later
Okay.
schedule.
Sounds good.
When are you both gonna be back?
I think I'll be traveling for the month of June. So I'm going back and forth. So anyway, I'll try to attend both online, June 13th and the next one as well.
And I know I fly out the 9th and come back the 21st,
Okay.
so 2 weeks in June.
May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Duarkesh?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Myself, John Reed, is an aye. It is a vote. The meeting is now adjourned.